Wow, stories.
Am I the idiot for cutting off my toxic friend after she tried to sabotage my wedding? I, a 28-year-old female, have a friend, I'll call her Abby, who is also a 28-year-old female. Abby and I have been friends since we were both around 18, but we've had a few years breaks. We've had 2 large arguments where we stopped talking. The first time we didn't talk for 2 years, the second was only a year. When we are talking, we are best friends. We do a lot together. Conventions, hiking, going to the park, malls, video games, and so on. We know more about each other than most people know about each other. Less like friends, more like sisters. For a while there, I was the only reason Abby was leaving the house. I started to help her exercise and lose weight, which was something she wanted to do. She was on weight loss medicine while I tried to pack on muscle. I also have a fiancé, we'll call him Sean, a 35-year-old male. I met him when I was 20. We've known each other for 8 years and have been dating for 7. I met him at an anime convention during one of the no-talking phases Abby and I had. I love this man with all my heart. I cannot tell you how much. He is the light of my life, and I smile anytime I think about him. We make each other better. He has helped me get out and exercise more and has helped me with my sleeping issues. He works with me on my anxiety and depression, while I've helped him with social cues and talking to people. Going into the relationship, neither of us wanted children, but now we're planning a family. Just a few examples. There's more, but I don't want to be here all day. This man makes my heart flutter in all the good ways. I can't be sad looking at him. When I told him my aunt had a stroke and wouldn't make it through the weekend, he told me to pack a bag for me and a bag for my dad. He would be at my place in an hour and a half. He was willing to drive 12 hours to a different state, with no plan on where we'd stay, or a guarantee that she'd still be alive when we got there, just so my dad and I could say goodbye to her. He was halfway to my place before I called him and told him not to worry about it. We would do a video call. He loves my dad. My dad loves him. Almost everyone in my life likes him, and I adore his family, especially his mother and sisters. They are amazing. We get along like white on rice. Now that introductions are over, on to the problem. Sean proposed during the solar eclipse. We traveled 2 hours to the path of the eclipse, spent the night, got to the park early, and had a picnic. He proceeded to propose during totality, and it was incredibly romantic. It was also the 8th anniversary of the day we first met. I loved it. I was on cloud 9. In fact, I still am. We wanted a quick engagement, so we planned for a 6-month engagement. The wedding is on Saturday, and we are leaving for our honeymoon that Sunday. I am beyond excited. The problem is that Abby hates Sean, and I mean truly hates him. She and her mother are the only 2 people in my life who do not like Sean, and they refuse to explain why. Even mentioning his name causes her to shut up and ignore me for hours, sometimes even days. She won't even go on a hike with me because I have Sean's car. Mine is in the shop, and I need it to get to work while he can work from home. She cut fishing during Father's Day short because my dad asked me a question about my bouquet. I do not know why she behaves this way, as she refuses to explain anything to me. Before you ask, they have never been left alone. At all. None of us go to parties, so they have never been to one together. She has only hung out with him twice while I was there, and even then, she was practically connected to my hip. They have never run into each other outside of the 3 of us hanging out, because Sean lives over an hour away from us. I mention this because I can already see comments suggesting that he might have sexually attacked her or been creepy with her. There is no way they have ever been near each other without me being present. She expects me to always choose her over him, but refuses to explain anything to me. She is furious that we are getting married, and when I told her, she gave me the silent treatment for a week. Sean and I are also planning on moving in together after the wedding. We have a few apartments lined up already, and all of them are outside the town I currently live in. We are also looking for an apartment for my father, so he's still close, because Sean knows how much I love my father and worry about him. How do I go about telling Abby that I'm moving? I don't want to lose the friendship we have. Well, had because she has refused to spend any time with me since Father's Day. But I worry that no matter how I approach the subject, she is going to explode. I hope this was enough information on the subject. I will try my best to answer any questions. Now for an update. This really blew up. You all have given me a lot to think about, and I had a good chat with my therapist about everything. I've decided to start to pull away from her. I will not be initiating contact with her anymore, and I will be more careful with any communication with her. I genuinely appreciate everyone's brutal honesty. I think deep down I realized the problem, but didn't want to face it. It took a bunch of Reddit strangers to tell me. So thank you. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Damn, this subreddit has given me a lot to think about and discuss with my therapist, since I've been avoiding this subject with her for a while. Thank you all for opening my eyes to how toxic my friend is and how unhealthy this relationship is. This friendship has run its course. I should have realized a lot sooner, considering how stressful it had become to keep her away from Sean. From the bottom of my heart, thank you all. Comment 2. I think your friend could be in love with you. She might not have admitted it to you or herself, but that might be why she's so angry. If she can't explain to you why she hates Sean, she can't explain it to herself. It seems she barely even knows him. She might not really hate Sean. She hates the idea of him because it sounds to me like she wants to be the only one in your life. Now for the update. 2 days after I posted my original update, I got a text from Abby asking if we could meet up. I almost didn't reply, but I figured maybe she wanted to explain her feelings about Sean. So I agreed. We decided to meet at this local diner we used to go to back in college. Honestly, the place used to have good memories for me, and I hoped maybe it would help us get back on track. Spoiler alert, it didn't. When I got there, Abby was already seated. She looked so tense. Like, I don't know if she was on edge or what, but she immediately ordered a coffee without even saying hi. I took the lead and asked her how she was doing, but she totally deflected. Like, fine, I get it, but come on. Then she started asking about the wedding plans. I tried to sound all excited and said some stuff about the venue and flowers, even though I didn't really feel like it. I thought maybe talking about the wedding would lighten the mood a little. And then, out of nowhere, Abby interrupted me. She said she couldn't believe I was marrying Sean. Just like that. The vibe changed, and her frustration was just there, like a big dark cloud hanging over our conversation. I finally asked her directly why she disliked Sean so much, and she hit me with the news. She said she saw him with another woman a few months back. I was taken aback and had to ask for more details, because what the heck? She said she saw him at a bar one night, talking closely with this woman. And get this, I remembered that night. I was out of town visiting family. So I reminded her of that, and she was all like, well, he was leaning in and laughing with her, and that was suspicious. I tried to explain that Sean was just being his friendly self because that's how he is, you know? He's social and talks to everyone. But Abby cut me off. She said she didn't want to ruin my happiness, but felt like she had to tell the truth. She was all serious when she said she was going to confront Sean about it later that day. Then she suggested that maybe I should call off the wedding to figure things out. I just brushed off the suggestion. Like, come on, I trust Sean. Yeah, I get Abby's a good friend, but I know my fiancé, and I'm not just going to believe some random story about him. We finished our meal in this tense silence, not really talking at all. We left the diner without really resolving anything. It was like the same as before, if not worse. After that, I texted Sean and asked him to meet me at our favorite coffee shop after work. I was just in a daze. I knew I had to talk to him and figure out what was going on, especially since Abby was going to confront him about something totally bogus. He arrived with a smile, and I was just so anxious. I jumped straight into the conversation and asked him about the night Abby saw him with the other woman. He looked surprised and asked for more context, which made sense. I explained what Abby had claimed and watched his reaction closely. He chuckled and said he remembered that night. He said he was talking to a friend from work, and then he pulls out his phone to show me a group photo from that night. Surprise, the woman was there with a bunch of other people. So I was like, okay, cool. But then I asked him why he hadn't mentioned this friend before, and it got a little awkward. He explained he thought it was no big deal since he never saw her again after that night. A few days later, Abby texted me again asking to meet up. I was just like, ugh. We met at this local park, and the tension was thick in the air. She seemed more agitated than before. She started off saying she felt ignored after our last conversation. I tried to reassure her that our friendship was important, but she snapped back at me. The confrontation escalated, and she accused me of choosing Sean over her. I insisted I wasn't abandoning our friendship, but we were just going in circles. Then she dropped this news on me. She said she had been considering moving away for a job opportunity. Just like that. When we parted ways, she mentioned she'd be gone by the end of the month. I felt like everything was just falling apart. To answer a few questions, Abby has known Sean for a while, but they aren't close. She didn't go into detail about the woman she saw him with. She also didn't take any pictures or get any names. Sean called his coworkers from that night, but no one remembered that specific woman.